So is the bottom now in for Bitcoin? We got some bullish news today for Ethereum. Chinese miners moving across the globe from Texas even to Kazakhstan. Maybe we'll see the birth of Borat BTC. Plus major news from the sporting world where crypto is now going mainstream. All of that in today's video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also check out my Patreon, link down below. Let's jump in. So what a difference a day makes. Just 24 hours in crypto feels like a lifetime. From this wick all the way down here, now pushing up a further 20% to around $34,000. So in times of real fear in the market, this is clearly the worst time to be selling your cryptocurrency. But yesterday, people would have had you believe that you needed to exit all your positions. But this would have left you with serious regrets today, as we've pumped up over $5,000 in just 24 hours. Now, clearly we're not out of the woods at this point, but things are starting to look a bit better today, and we're going to push towards this higher level of resistance on this downward trend here that we've been in for almost 6 weeks at this point. But the key takeaways from this price action is there were buyers stepping in at this point. Not a huge deal of volume down here, but there is definitely buy support around this area. 30k seems to be an area where a lot of people are stepping in, and we have seen a continuation of the uptrend going into today. So it is positive news on a price front here. Clearly we want to break out of this level and really retest the mid 45k region, but at this moment in time, if we just range around here between 30 and 40k for a while and put in an accumulation period, it will set us up for further highs down the line. I've even seen many people today claiming that the spring from the Wyckoff accumulation schematic is now in play with this breakdown to that 28.8k region that we saw just yesterday. But let's not get ahead of ourselves right now. We'll take this day by day and see where we trend over the course of the rest of this week. But generally, glancing at CoinMarketCap today and looking at your blockfolio is a better feeling than yesterday. Bitcoin up to 34.1 right now. Ethereum's been hovering above $2,000 for most of today. Let's refresh the page and see if we can get 2K. Not quite. BNB back above 300 bucks. And over the 24-hour period, a lot of double-digit gains. And Solana in particular looking like it doesn't want to go down without a fight. Over on the Fear and Greed Index, the Richter scale showing number 14 over here, up from 10 just yesterday. Clearly, this is still an area of extreme fear, and market sentiment is not great, but it was better than yesterday. So we'll take the positives as they come. So major news for Ethereum here. The Bank of Israel steps up GBTC efforts with reported tests on Ethereum. So it's saying that the Bank of Israel has been experimenting with a digital shekel on the Ethereum blockchain. So this is part of a pilot scheme. Clearly, central bank digital currencies are coming and coming fast, but this pilot scheme was kind of under the radar. This is an unconfirmed report, but the claim has been made by Israeli financial news site Globe. So this report reads that the Bank of Israel completed its pilot in an experimental closed environment based on Ethereum's architecture, involving the trial issuance of tokens representing digital shekels and their transfer between digital wallets. They've also used NFTs to program a car ownership certificate as well. So this isn't just dipping your toes in a little bit, but trialing having your digital currency on the Ethereum blockchain plus having certificate ownership for your road vehicles. So this is very big news, to be honest with you, and very, very bullish for Ethereum. Clearly, they haven't chosen any other blockchain here, and they've gone with the premier smart contract platform in ETH. We're seeing this time and time again. Nations are tending to choose Ethereum as the blockchain of choice. It's the most secure, it's been around the longest, it may not be the cheapest, but it is fully decentralized, and that is what they're after. So the potential for the Israeli people to have their central bank digital currency fully on the Ethereum blockchain is of course being met with great pleasure by ETH holders, myself included. This is really bullish news, and maybe this will establish Ethereum as the ground for nations' CBDCs to be set up. And what we find is generally good news for Ethereum is good for the altcoin space. Clearly at this moment in time, good news stories aren't going to have the impact they would do during a bullish uptrend, but this is fuel to the fire of that bullish ETH narrative. We've also got an investment fund talking about Bitcoin bottoming here. They say that 30K sees Bitcoin very near the bottom, but there is also a warning signal within this article about the grayscale GBTC options expiry coming at the end of June. So there's $2.3 billion worth of Bitcoin options expiring at the end of this quarter, and this could partially be attributing to the added volatility in the markets. Clearly, the investors here who get their Bitcoin unlocked could go and sell this, but they expect once this is done and dusted, there will be less sell pressure on the market. And this institutional program mentions that their macro view remains the same. They expect Bitcoin to establish ground on further consolidation here. The report continues to say we will keep a close eye on Bitcoin's price post options expiry, and it will be interesting to see how this will unfold in the first week of July, the start, of course, of Q3. So potentially bullish catalyst going into the start of quarter 3, July the 1st. Will we see an uptick in the BTC price? Is the bear about to be killed off? Have we bottomed? Those are the questions on all our minds right now. And so the hope here is that we're moving from some negative narratives here and maybe into some more positive ones. We've had a few hurdles thrown our way recently that we're starting to really overcome now. So with, of course, the China banning Bitcoin mining, we're seeing these miners migrate all over the globe. I've seen them in Texas. There was a picture posted by a miner actually with a Texan barbecue in front of him, so clearly tucking into the local cuisine there. And we're also seeing miners setting up across the border over into Kazakhstan. So this makes me wonder, will we see a secondary market set up for the Kazakhstan mined Bitcoins, maybe a Borat BTC on the cards? But in all seriousness, this is a very good thing. We're starting to see that these miners, so this is actually one of China's largest Bitcoin miners, a firm called Canaan, having just set up in Kazakhstan, and their operation is now up and running. So this is like their first batch of mining machines are actually now running. So there is Bitcoin being mined in Kazakhstan by the uprooted Chinese miners right now. So hopefully we're going to see the news narrative flip from China being a centralized point of BTC mining to Bitcoin mining being more decentralized and spread out globally. This kind of narrative shift is something I'm looking for, as this has been clearly a major hurdle and a major road bump for Bitcoin as of late. And once we can get past it, I feel like we're going to see the market sentiment start to turn and momentum flow back to Bitcoin. President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele here. Clean volcano-powered hash rate coming very soon. These look like very much stock images from Google, however, and someone even called him out in the comments saying that they've seen this picture before. I actually think I've used this picture here from Google as a thumbnail in previous videos, so I'm not sure exactly who's been feeding him these images, but they are very much stock images from Google. But again, this is part of the narrative shift we want to see. We want to see clean, we want to see sustainable Bitcoin mining, we want to see the hash rate coming from these kind of sources, and a continuation of this kind of narrative is only going to be positive for the overall market health. Now on to major endorsement news here. So FTX has just signed a deal to become the MLB's official cryptocurrency exchange brand. So the FTX boys, backed by Sam Bankman-Fried, have been letting the checkbook loose as of late. So it says FTX will also become the first company to sponsor a patch on the umpires' uniforms during games. And clearly baseball has ridiculously high viewership, and this is a sign of FTX just expanding as a global brand here. So they've already signed a deal to sponsor the Miami Heat Stadium. I'm sure most of us knew about that. That was a $135 million deal over 19 years at $7.1 million annually. And this one now is a 10-year deal worth $21 million annually. And down here, Joe Pompliano, brother of Alex Pompliano, suggests he's going to explore the emerging trend of crypto and sports. And I think the sports sector and the crypto sectors of society are two that can really be interwoven here. A lot of people are very tribalistic about which blockchains they like, just like people are with sports teams. There's a lot of comparisons that can be made between the two, but it's cool to see that FTX is really pushing forward for mainstream adoption and getting the crypto name out there with sponsorships not just in basketball, but baseball level as well. And just to add to this and the FTX kind of news stories, Sam Trambuco, I think that's his name, from Alameda Research, Alameda are behind FTX. He recently tweeted suggesting that Alameda are now long BTC. And Alameda are one of the biggest trading firms out there. And so these gigabrain guys putting longs in for Bitcoin does seem like the bottom is in, so fingers crossed. Now, even the most bullish sometimes are affected by the bearish noise around them. So this is plan B, and he's tweeted this: even for me, it's always a bit uneasy when Bitcoin price is at the lower bound of the stock to flow model. Will it hold like back in March of 2019 when he first published this, or March 2020 with the COVID crash? As you can see, going outside of the dark gray bounds here, going right to the edge of the gray bounds here, and even in September 2020, a deviation from the stock to flow, but now a major deviation from the stock to flow, going outside of these gray bounds once again. And he asks, is this another buying opportunity, or will the stock to flow be invalidated? So I think this highlights two things. First and foremost, if you are in an echo chamber where people are very bearish all the time, it will make you bearish. We're very easily influenced as humans. If I were to watch 5 videos back to back with bear in the title, like we're seeing on the likes of Crypto Banter or Elio Trades right now, it will make you bearish. But if you try to open your mind up to the possibility there is an undercurrent of bullish narratives all the time for crypto, you can stay in that bullish mindset. So I think he's been fudded a little bit here with this tweet. But what I see here is if we're deviating this far from the stock to flow model on the back of what has been the biggest FUD storm I've ever seen in crypto, surely being this far away from the actual trend line here represents a period of maximum financial opportunity. And if we were offered Bitcoin at prices of 33, 34K a month ago when we were up at 60K, you would snatch people's hands off. So personally, I am DCAing into the market at these levels. I think it makes absolutely no sense to be bullish on crypto and not be doing that at this point in time. Of course, not financial advice, just letting you know what I am currently doing. Then the Crypto Lark posted this. This is to do with the moving average heat map for Bitcoin. So this is all to do with the percentage monthly increases of the 200-week moving average. So as the monthly time frame starts to really heat up and we see like 14 and 16% plus month-on-month gains here, we move to the red areas. And we've always seen red at the peaks of bull market tops, these blow off top regions. And he's saying that here we're only seeing yellows and greens. And so we have not had that final parabola that we should get to conclude a Bitcoin cycle. To counter this, someone down here posted an image of all miner transactions to exchanges. So essentially this could be Bitcoin miners selling their BTC. But if we see, we've got quite a lot of spikes up to this 36, 37,000 Bitcoins going towards exchanges from miners on a regular basis. And then over the last day or so, it's gone up to around 41,000. So it is a bit of a jump up, but not off the charts by any stretch. But it is worth pointing out that there has been an increase here, which could lead to a sell-off. So to not just be gigabull right here, but of course there are some bearish narratives as well in the market. And then we've also got Alex Saunders here, who is bullish at this level. So is the bull market done? Over the years, I've found the best way to answer this is by asking yourself if current prices are justified or simply a result of noise, news, and FUD. I think we can check all those boxes off right now. This will leave most of those selling, begging for a chance to buy back down here in hindsight. So this is the long-term trend line from March of 2020 with the COVID crash, and we've just returned to this recently. We have wicked below, but we're keeping our candle close on the daily here, bang on this trend line. So again, this is someone suggesting that the bottom is in at this point for Bitcoin. And finally, if you want to keep your privacy on the internet, make sure you use a VPN. There's some ridiculous deals on at Surfshark right now. I will leave a link down below for that. I do use them and highly recommend them. No major shill here, but if you want to get involved with this and use my link, it does help the channel out. So that is the roundup for today. Let me know down below, have we seen the bottom right now? Are we seeing more bullish narratives start to come to the surface? How are you feeling about the markets in general? Comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.